Hello everybody, and today guys, I am back with another mod showcase, and something new. May I introduce Caser Labs. So guys, Caser Labs is where I'll be doing a lot of my mod showcases basically for a while. And so, if any of you guys are curious, it is an acronym, it's not just a random name. It does stand for Crafties, that's me, Aerospace and Supernatural Experimentation and Research Laboratories. Anyway guys, let's go ahead and walk right into it. So, the first thing I'm going to show you guys out of all this stuff is this. This right here is the Circuit Fabricator. So, the Circuit Fabricator is pretty much one of the most basic machines in the game, aside from maybe the coal generator, which is somewhere up there, and I'll get to that one later in the video. Speaking of this video, if you guys do enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know that what I'm doing is something that people are enjoying to watch, or is being informative to others, and it also, it also is a feel-good type thing. I just really like to do it to, make videos for you guys, and I like to know that I'm reaching a wide audience. Speaking of which, we are just over 75 subscribers at the moment, and so I would like to plan something as a 100 subscriber special at some point, but I have no idea what that's going to be. So, any suggestions are welcome. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled program for the mod showcase. So, Circuit Fabricator is crafted with a furnace, a lever, 2 aluminum ingots, 2 buttons, 2 aluminum wires, and a single redstone torch. So how this works is you put in a diamond, as you can see there, redstone dust, and 2 silicon, and give it a power source, which is why you need the coal generator. And then you can put here either there's a lot of different stuff you can put there. There's like solar dust, there's lapis, there's a repeater and a comparator, and it all gives you different types of wafers. For instance, if I was to look at the next item, the compressor, it does require a basic wafer, which is a redstone torch. So, the compressor is 6 aluminum ingots, an anvil, copper ingot, and a basic wafer. Which this is probably the most, these two are arguably the most important in the game, and these are also some of the first ones you'll get, because the compressor is needed in almost every single other recipe, and as is wafers. So the compressor, I already did that. Hold on. Here we go. So the compressor, basically, you take 2 or more of a item, give it fuel for this one, regular fuel, and compress it. So that's why I have this set up right here. I can show you guys. That's how most things, if it's just compressed versions of an ore like iron and stuff like that. Now some of them only require, titanium does require 2, but Desh and meteoric iron only require 1. Bronze is tin and copper. Steel is compressed iron and 2 coal, and there's not too much else compressed stuff. But there are some other things that we'll get to later. So, the next item is the electric compressor. So, with this one, it is crafted in 2 different ways, actually. You can craft it with either 4 compressed steel, 2 aluminum wires, an advanced wafer, a compressor, and compressed tin. Or you can use an advanced wafer, 2 aluminum wires, 4 compressed steel, 1 compressed bronze, and an anvil. So 2 different ways to make it, one requiring the compressor and one not. This one is basically this, but it uses electricity instead of coal or furnace fuel. And it also goes a lot faster. I believe the exact amount is double the speed. So, the next thing is the electric furnace. The electric furnace is a regular furnace with 5 compressed steel, 2 compressed aluminum, and a basic wafer. And this is basically just a furnace that you can attach a battery to or a power source to. And it's, it can save you a lot of fuel. Unless you're coal generator, but I'm pretty sure the coal generator right here would make it, the coal generator would probably make it a lot more efficient because it would use power. And it actually tells you power usage. And so, yeah. that's something that's pretty useful. That's another feature I'm just gonna say right here, is that it tells you the amount of power you need, so that way you know if your generators and battery packs and all that other stuff can handle it. Next up we have this one, which is the electric arc furnace, which is crafted with an electric furnace. 5 heavy-duty plates, tier 1, 2 meteoric iron, and advanced waffles. This is a very advanced machine, because heavy-duty plates are kind of difficult to make, and they're needed to make rockets as well. But again, I'll go more in depth with that in a different video. This one will also give you double the output of a regular furnace, so it's definitely worth it, allowing you to get double the items from all of your ores. So next up we have the refinery. The refinery is made with 2 copper canisters, a furnace, 2 stone, and 2 compressed steel. What this does is it takes oil and refines it into rocket fuel. When you give it electricity, you just hit the button and it will refine it. So let me see if I can find I actually want to show this one. I'm not going to show all of them, but I'll show some of them. So now this is a very fun item. So if I was to find oil, let's say filled oil canister with 1,000 oil, it'll show it in here, and it'll show it, and you can also tell it to stop refining if you are running out of power. It's not doing so good, or you don't need much more. So this is very useful if you want to explore other worlds. So I'm gonna hit stop refining so I don't get the particle effects. Next up we have this, the terraformer. Terraformer is this is a super advanced machine requiring 4 dash ingots, 3 compressed dash, a tin canister, and an oxygen concentrator. Oh, and guys, just so you know, all canisters are made like this. And the oxygen concentrator is made like so. Compressed steel, a tin canister, and oxygen. So, now, just so you guys know, I am going to have a video on all of the items individually. So, that way I don't have to go through every single item in this video, and this video is not an hour long. Anyways, so this one is really, really useful if you want to have a permanent settlement on another planet, or the moon, or anything like that, because you put in energy, water, bone meal, and then you can have seeds and saplings, and you can change a few of the settings. And basically will produce a giant bubble that will begin the terraforming process of the planet, turning it into a habitable area. And I do recommend using some of this stuff. The oxygen, I believe it is which one is it? The oxygen distributor, in conjunction with this, because you're gonna need some oxygen if you're gonna breathe. So guys, I'm going to now head around back and start on this end. So this right here is the telemetry unit. So this is made with a frequency module, 4 compressed tin, 2 compressed copper, and a basic wafer. So this is basically, the telemetry unit is used to gather data from mobs and to be displayed on the display screen, which is just a glass, 4 basic wafers, and 4 compressed steel. So if I was to take the frequency module right here, wait, no, not that, frequency module right here, so you can take this and you can wear on your head to, as you saw in the previous one, you can put it in, not in your head, but in the Galacticraft inventory to speak to the aliens, or you can, oh wait, I think I put it on, okay, wrong one, okay, I think I put that on, I did the wrong thing. So you left click on a mob, and then you right click on a telemetry unit, so then you can have this right here. So it shows the mob, health, and heartbeat, and if I can hit it, it should say oink. Oh, that's disappointing. Okay, let me just, wrong button. Okay, you know what, you guys get the gist, right? Cool. And then this also shows you a few different scenes, such as the overworld, the solar system, the Earth, a planet, a random planet, and then how long it's been since no link. So this one is the chromatic applicator. I pronounced that right? Yeah. This is just a compressed steel surrounded by a large variety of dyes, and this is actually pretty nice. So, what you can do here is take... now, it does not work, unfortunately, with wool. It only works with the Galacticraft stuff, such as vacuum glass. And if you hit apply paint, it should change the color of it. Now, if I was to take regular vacuum glass and just sort of place that down, okay, it's a different color. Not sure why that is. Maybe it's because it's a different vacuum glass. I don't know. I'll take this one. I honestly don't know why. See, this is the default color. I think it's because I've experimented a lot with these and see how many different colors I can get, and so I guess in creative mode it will just keep with the same color. I'm gonna throw that in there. See what it does. Nothing. Okay. So yeah, this is kind of, it's not really complicated, but it just doesn't work with wool or leather armor either. Now, there is another thing. It will work with these, the lighting panels and stuff like that, which are just different configurations of steel, glass panes, and glowstone torches, and the lights will be the color that you want, rather than the block itself. So this is one that, well, there wasn't much information on either, so I do hope that this is a satisfactory explanation of this block. But, and of course I forgot to mention that you can mix the colors. So if I hit mix, you see how it got darker, closer to the shade. Now if I was to, then I could probably take a red, let's say I take redstone or mix color, and it became a bit, you know, because the general color on it is a is brown. So then if I was to take a purple glazed terracotta, throw that in there, it becomes a bit more purple. So it allows you to have same type color spectrum, all items, take basically the average color of all the things and puts it on there. So if they're mostly gray block, it'll make it gray, mostly green block, it'll make it green, mostly blue block, it'll make it blue, that type of stuff. Next up we have the Airlock controller and the, oops, wrong button, sorry about that, and the Airlock frame. So the Airlock controller is made with 6 compressed steel, 2 compressed meteoric iron, and 1 basic wafer, and the Airlock frame is the same configuration, but with an oxygen concentrator. So, well, if these, let me go over here to demonstrate this. So if these were made in a portal style fashion, and just replace one of those with that, it basically airlocks the area. Now, of course, because I'm not really in a thing, so because I'm not really in a thing, and there's airlock blocks all over the floor, it's not going to work properly. But you build it in a portal-like fashion, and then you, of course, can do things such as have it open with the redstone signal when the player is within any amount of distance, the player name, invert the selection, and have it be in horizontal mode, where it would airlock it like that. We could probably airlock the floor, so have a downwards airlock. Next we have the magnetic crafting table, which is just a compressed iron crafting table. And what this does is, I think it'll be best to show you guys. So I'm going to, this is from a different mod. I don't think I did a mod showcase on this one actually. But if I was to take a bunch of cactus, and if I was to shape it like that, and craft that, and then throw that in there, it won't work. Because, yeah, I always forget that. Yeah, it doesn't work with, it unfortunately does not work with non-Galacticraft items, which is kind of sad. But hopefully, maybe another update they will fix it. But for now, I'm going to have to find another thing that I can grab a bunch of components for. Show you guys how to make. Okay, rocket launch pads. Compress. Actually, you know what? Why not just make more magnetic crafting tables? So I'm going to take a crafting table and a compressed iron. Make one of those, and then I'm going to throw that and that in there, and I don't know what it's doing. It's feeding the, oh yeah, it's feeding the crafting tables. So, of course, you know, hoppers can only do so much. But as you can see, once you get this item going in there, once both items get going in there, more of the same item will be crafted. So, you know, you would want to have something going on to, because if you do have things like this where you want to get a lot of an item that requires multiple types of items, it will take a bit, because the first one will have to go completely out, and then the second one will begin. And you won't even see it in the crafting table at all. It will just go straight into the hopper beneath it. So guys, next is basically this thing right here, the hydraulic platform. It's also right there. Hydraulic platform, 4 pistons, 2 glowstone dust, 2 compressed steel, and a basic wafer. And when you place these in a 2x2 fashion, and that you can use them as like an elevator. So you hit the space bar or jump, and you'll go up. Hit shift, and you go down. And I have another set of these over here where go up again, go down again. Yeah, so it's basically an elevator useful on the space station, because then you don't go flying everywhere. Now here we have the launch controller. So the launch controller is made with a frequency module, 4 dash ingots, 2 compressed dash, an advanced wafer, and aluminum wire. And what this does is it allows you to, so I have to explain this a bit first, but basically, so this is the frequency of the launch controller, and this is the destination. So when you connect this to a rocket launch pad, which is over there, then basically you can set it to do certain things, such as load cargo, auto launch, and things of that nature when launching the rocket, allowing you to send mass quantities of items to the stars or to your moon base without you actually having to be there. So next up we have the cargo unloader. This is basically how to unload cargo from the rockets automatically. And these basically come in handy. There's also a cargo loader. I don't know why I decided to put it way up there, but I did. And next we have the deconstructor. So the deconstructor is shears, 2 compressed steel, 3 aluminum wires, an anvil, and a furnace. So the deconstructor is basically an uncrafting table, but so if I was to put launch controller in there, which is made with these items, it will deconstruct it. Now it won't give you all those items back, but it'll give you a good bit, so you should expect some dash. And it does take a bit of time, but from this you should expect some steel and iron back. So yeah, see how there's a lot more steel and iron now. So it gives you a bunch of basic resources. So for Galacticraft style items. Next up here, I love the elevators. I love those. I love those. Anyway, so here we have the cargo loader, which I actually don't think I showed you how to craft. The cargo unloader. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys both of them at the same time, because they basically do the same thing. So the cargo loader, the cargo loader is 5 compressed steel, 2 compressed aluminum, a chest with a hopper on top. Cargo unloader, same type thing, but the hopper is on the bottom. And so basically anything in here will be loaded onto a rocket if it's connected to a rocket launch pad. Next we have a fuel loader, which, when supplied with power and fuel, can load the rockets up with fuel when connected to rocket launch pads. Rocket launch pads are 3 blocks of iron and 3 compressed iron, and you get 9 of them. Now they're only useful when placed in a 3x3 grid, and you will know when they're done because it'll pop up a bit in the center. And they of course all break at once. Now, same style thing with the buggy fueling pad is that, except it's compressed steel instead of compressed iron. You get 9 of them. Place them down like so, and boom. So you can fuel your moon buggies or things along those lines. It says it specifically here cannot be used to launch rockets way at the bottom. So now these 3 are all very useful, and I've sort of disorganized this, but I'm going to show it this way because this is the way they're used. So first, the water electrolyzer is made with 2 compressed copper, compressed bronze, 2 fluid pipes, a fluid manipulator, an oxygen vent, and 2 heavy oxygen tanks. And what this does is it takes water and transforms it into oxygen and hydrogen gas. So then next we have the methane synthesizer, which produces methane. And if you take carbon dioxide, and I do believe it is the hydrogen, then you can produce methane. So now the atmospheric valve, this is used if you put this down on a planets like Venus with high amounts of carbon in the atmosphere, then you can use it. But otherwise you could just put fragmented carbon, which is just used from either charcoal or coal. Is more beneficial to use coal, as 1 coal gets 8, while 1 charcoal only gives you 4. And then of course this one, you can take the compressed methane and turn it into fuel. So now of course the methane synthesizer, cannot speak today. Methane synthesizer is an oxygen compressor, an electric furnace, a compressed bronze, a fluid manipulator, 2 fluid pipes, 2 heavy oxygen tanks, and an oxygen vent. While the gas liquefier is 2 medium oxygen tanks, an oxygen vent, heavy oxygen tank, a fluid pipe, a fluid manipulator, a compressed bronze, oxygen compressor, and an oxygen decompressor. So I'll get to those right now. Yeah, energy, I'll go for the energy last. Sorry, energy things. I know you're a bit sad. Well, you look a little bit robotic, but you know what, that's fine. I'm going to start with this guy. The oxygen collector, which is an oxygen vent, 3 compressed steel, an oxygen fan, a tin canister, an oxygen concentrator, and 2 compressed aluminum. What this does is, when given a power source, it will store oxygen. As you can see, it's, taking it in. And so, yeah, it basically just takes in oxygen. I mean, yeah. So next we have the oxygen distributor. This is really, really good because it allows you to have a bubble of oxygen on other planets. So if you take 2 oxygen vents and compressed aluminum, 4 compressed steel, and 2 oxygen fans, you get this. So when supplied with power and oxygen, then of course it will give you a bubble. Now you can have the bubble visible or not visible. So when the bubble is visible, you won't need to have oxygen in order to breathe. And it will, well, you will still need oxygen, but it'll be there or all around you. So now this device is just the oxygen detector. So this is 2 redstone, compressed aluminum, 2 oxygen vents, a basic wafer, and 3 compressed steel. And all this does is emit a redstone signal when oxygen is detected. So it's basically, on Earth, it functions as a very expensive block of redstone. However, on other planets, if you have a space station or something, and you want to know if there's oxygen, you can have a little light telling you whether there's oxygen or not. Next, I'm going to go with the oxygen storage module, which is 3 heavy oxygen tanks and 6 compressed steel. And this basically just holds a bunch of oxygen. You don't need energy for it or anything like that. So it's really nice. Next, we have the oxygen decompressor, which does the opposite of the oxygen compressor, which I'm actually going to show first. The oxygen compressor is 4 compressed steel, a compressed bronze, 3 compressed aluminum, and an oxygen concentrator. And so, basically, you put an oxygen tank there, oxygen there, and a battery slot there, and it puts in the tank oxygen. The decompressor, you just put a battery in a tank, and it puts oxygen into the machine. This is the Oxygenstealer, where it'll seal a room if you have oxygen, a ambient thermal controller. You have heat, so you don't have to wear. I mentioned that you do have to wear a thermal padding on certain planets to prevent yourself from freezing or dying of heat. So the ambient thermal controller allows you to thermally control the temperature, so that way you don't need to wear that armor. It also allows you to have oxygen in a confined room, so if this was in a space station and I had enough oxygen going to that, I would be able to seal the room off and have it completely usable without oxygen on the outside. So next here we have all these. These are all pipes or storage containers for fluids. So a fluid pipe is just 6 glass panes. The walkway with a fluid pipe is just either a regular walkway and a fluid pipe, or 4 compressed titanium and 5 fluid pipes. Now the walkway is just for that, you get 5. So I mean, you know, same amount of stuff. So it's the same thing. Just, you know, 2 different crafting recipes for the same thing, and you can walk on that. While this one you cannot. So this is good if you have walkways with piping underneath it. And this one is good if you need to have it in a airtight area. So fluid pipe and 2 tin wall blocks. Now last thing I forgot to mention is the fluid tank, which is just, you know, 6 glass panes, and it just holds gases and liquids. Just as a clarification, these fluid pipes also hold gases. However, I do not recommend mixing the gases because that could get kind of complicated trying to extract them. Now over to the power section. So the area, this is the most powerful area, seeing as there's a lot of electricity in this area. So first I'm going to show you guys are the arc lamp. You see these being used to light stuff around. So these are a battery, 4 dust ingots, and 4 glowstone dust, and these are basically just a light source where it projects the light directionally. So if you put it up high, it will project the light all the way down, which results in the higher up you put it, more light it gives you. Next we have the spin thruster. The spin thruster is a tier 1 rocket engine, advanced wafer, a filled fuel canister, 2 compressed steel, and a meteoric iron, and this is used to apply spin to a space station. Now, the exact benefit of that is still under consideration according to the Wikipedia site, and it seems to push you slightly towards the edges rather than give a gravity, and they are still working on a way to you have some form of semi-artificial gravity, but it does work to keep you towards the ground, but it will sort of push you very slowly towards the edges of the space station. Next we have the coal generator. The coal generator is a furnace, 3 copper ingots, 4 iron ingots, and an aluminum wire. And this basically just takes coal or furnace fuel and turns it into a usable thing for energy. And the geothermal generator is something that's very useful for Venus, because if you were to search a spout, this thing, remember this thing, the vapor spout, you put this on top of that and it will produce energy for you. Pretty nice. Then we have the energy storage module, which is 3 empty batteries and 6 compressed steel, and this will hold 500,000 GJ of electricity. Now, of course, the energy storage cluster, which is 4 energy storage modules, 4 compressed steel, and an advanced wafer, can hold 5 times that. So next up, I'm going to start over here, because this is a very advanced thing, and kind of confusing. So, okay, aluminum wires, here we go. Aluminum wires are 6 wool of any color, and 3 aluminum ingots. You get 6 wires. Heavy aluminum wire is just a regular aluminum wire with an additional aluminum ingot and an additional piece of wool. Then the switchable versions of the wires are just a repeater and the same type of wire. Then of course, we have the stealable aluminum wire, which is the wire and 2 tin wall blocks. And all these are used to conduct electricity from place to place, as are these. These are energy beam receivers, which are a beam core and 4 compressed titanium, beam core, glass pane, iron ingots, compressed iron, 4 compressed iron, a glass pane, and 4 redstone. So, as you can see here, the green end would be feeding energy in, the red end extracts energy, because that's a generator type thing. Now, there's also reflectors, which are a lever, beam core, and 4 compressed titanium, and you put the lever over there, it doesn't have to be over there. And these are basically just ways to reflect it so it's not a completely straight line. It's a very scientific way of doing it with a little bit less, because there is a slight energy loss. Now, I do believe the energy loss is a little bit greater with these, but I also believe the energy flows faster. So I do believe these are worth it. You can also walk through them, meaning you don't need to have a bunch of ugly wires everywhere. If you have machines across the room that you need filling, you don't have to go around, and you can just go straight through. It also would look kind of cool having laser beams everywhere. I mean, seriously, which is cooler? This stuff, or a bunch of laser beams? Laser beams. All the way. So next we have solar array controller and modules. The controller is an advanced wafer, 4 compressed steel, 3 heavy aluminum wires, and the module is solar array panels, an advanced wafer, and 2 heavy aluminum wires. So these put a bunch of solar array modules on the controller, and the controller is, these are basically solar panels for a space station, and it will generate if the sun is visible. These are very, and as it says right here, most effective on space stations. So guys, that's everything that's inside. However, we still have a little bit more, so I'm going to take the upper exit to show you guys the rest of it. Ignore that for now, we'll get to that later. The first thing I'm going to show you guys is this, the short-range telepad, which has a 250 block radius and can transport other living creatures short distances, which is and is crafted with a beam core, 5 compressed titanium, 2 ender pearls, and a redstone dust. So you right-click on it, and you have the address of the telepad. So this could be anything from 0 to, you know, whatever number you want. The target address would be where you're going. So let's say you have this one, which is 0, then the one I'm about to go to, which is number 1, and then you have one that's 250, that's super far away, or underground, that you called number 3. So then I can change it to that number, and if you don't have a number for that telepad, then it won't let you go there. But, excuse me. But because I do have one as a target address, you go in here, and it will slowly change from a blue to a green, and once it is green, you will become teleported there. As you can see, this one's target address is 1, and this one's target address, this one's target address is 0, and this one's address is 1. Now I'm in the back of the lab with this, which I'll show you now. This is the Astro Miner base, which is 2 beam cores, a chest, energy storage module, 4 compressed dash, and what this does is it basically stores anything an Astro Miner would collect, and it also is a charging station for it. So, as you can see, the Astro Miner dug up a bunch of blocks, and of course, because it didn't have a chance to get back to it before I destroyed it, it would have put more in there. But this is very useful because it will go and just mine up a bunch of things, and that's kind of useful. It automates mining almost. So guys, I'm actually going to quickly head back inside because there's a few inside things that I forgot to mention. The first being the Cryogenic Chamber, which is a bed, two tier 2 heavy duty plates, and 6 compressed dash, and this is used to skip the long nights on other planets. And it also allows you to sleep during the day, skipping to the next one. However, there is a cooldown of 300 seconds. That way you can't use it because I bet the logic behind that is using it, constantly freezing yourself cannot be good for you. So next we have the NASA Workbench. This is used to make all the rockets and buggies and astrominers that you're going to need. So this is a crafting table, an advanced wall for 2 levers, a redstone torch, and 4 compressed steel. This is how the blueprints come in handy. So, you know, you fill in the blueprints. So if I was to search in the little search bar over here, rocket, tier 1 rocket, it'll show me everything I need, all the different crazy stuff, which I will do an entire video on all the rockets. But it'll basically, you know, show you what to do, put it in there. Here you could put up to 3 chests for storage space. Then, of course, tier 2 rocket, cargo rocket, which is just meant to be item storage. And then the Astro Miner, and then add new schematics, where if you do take the schematics mentioned in the previous video, schematics, and put them in there, it'll unlock the recipe for you. Okay, so, now, I've been talking for a while, but one last thing, well, two last things, might I say. So we have the basic and advanced solar panels. So the basic solar panels. So the big difference is that, so they're all made with 4 compressed steel, a full solar panel, and 1 steel pole. The difference is that the advanced solar panel has an advanced woofer and heavy aluminum wires, while the basic one has a basic woofer and regular aluminum wires. So the basic one will just sort of be up in this position, sort of like an umbrella, and isn't as effective as this one, which will angle itself towards the sun and collect more. So the very last thing is this right here. So this is the communications dish, and so this is made with 3 compressed aluminum, a block of iron, 2 advanced woofers, and a frequency module. Now, this did have a use in Galacticraft 3, however, this is Galacticraft 4, and at the moment, it has 0 use, besides from a decoration. So, yes, you can use it as a decoration, however, it's kind of an expensive decoration. But it still looks really, really cool to finish off any sort of lab-style build. But guys, I do hope that you guys found this video informative, and that it'll help you guys reach your journeys among the stars. But I'd like to bid you guys farewell. I really do hope that you guys subscribe and help me reach 100 subscribers. And I'll see you guys in the next video, which, by the way, will be on all of the Galacticraft items. So, stay tuned to catch that video next time. Anyways, everybody, bye everybody.